Let's get more from the New South Wales Emergency Services and Flood Recovery Minister, Steph Cooke. She joins me from the State Emergency Operations Centre in Homebush. Thanks for joining us, Minister. First up, the situation as it's unfolding, do we believe the worst has passed?
Well, for some areas that may very well be the case, although what we've seen over and over again over the past 4 days is that we can get a sudden deluge in any location where that weather event is situated across the east coast of New South Wales and particularly across the northern areas of Sydney. We do know that weather system is now moving towards the Hunter and the Central Coast. To that end, we have set up an evacuation centre in Cessnock and we are keeping a very close eye on what's unfolding up there. I think it's going to be a nervous night for those communities. Pleasingly, down south in that Illawarra South Coast area, some of those communities have been given the opportunity to return home with an all clear notice issued by the SES. And then right across the Sydney metropolitan area, we are seeing rains ease. However, we are expecting those river levels to remain at major down through that Hawkesbury-Nepean Valley over the coming days.
Minister, for 3 decades now, with state governments, Labor and Liberal, we've seen arguments about whether or not it's necessary to raise the height of the Warragamba Dam wall. Surely the jury is in.
Look, from my perspective, watching these communities go through yet another major flooding event. It's their third in as many months, and it's their fourth in 18 months. There's no doubt that the Warragamba Dam Wall project is an important one. It is one that's under active consideration by the New South Wales government. It is well recognised that raising the wall by in and around 14 metres will have a substantial positive impact from a mitigation perspective. I think it's important to remember, Chris, that this dam was originally built as a water supply dam, not as a mitigation dam, and as a result, this project is a big and complex project around that augmentation. From a New South Wales government perspective, we are going through the necessary planning approvals from both a New South Wales and a federal government perspective. And Minister Ayres, as we know, has been very, very vocal and led from the front in relation to this project.
Yes, Minister, but he's a strong advocate for it. There have been environmental studies, there have been all sorts of engineering studies. It was given the kibosh back in 1995. We know it can be done. We know it needs to be done. Don't we just need the state government to make the decision to proceed, because every year that is wasted is obviously going to lead to more potential damage?
Well, Chris, it is a complex process, and there are planning issues, there are planning processes that must be gone through. From my perspective and from my agency's perspective, we continue to feed our advice into the government because we see the impact that these floods have on communities directly. It's the SES that not only responds through the emergency phase but needs to go out and do those rapid damage assessments on people's homes. They see the impact on people's lives and livelihoods, and we will continue to feed that information back into government in relation to these decisions going forward.
Minister, this is the essence of politics. This is why we have politicians. Don't the people of New South Wales, especially in that catchment area, in that floodplain area, want to hear you and the Premier say, we will go ahead with this project. We will make sure it happens because we want to minimise the risk and damage to the communities. We know it's complex. We know there's lots of work to be done, but people need to hear that this is what you're going to proceed with.
Well, there's no doubt that the New South Wales government is committed to this project, Chris. It is. It is committed to this project, and rightly so. And what we know is that we spend 97 cents post-disaster in recovery and only 3 cents in mitigation. So we need to flip that. We absolutely do. And this is an important project and one that's absolutely vital from a mitigation perspective for the people of the Hawkesbury-Nepean Valley.
Great stuff. Thanks for joining us, Minister. I appreciate it. Steph Cooke,
Thank
who's
you.
the New South Wales Emergency Services and Flood Recovery Minister, you hear that? They're going to go ahead with it. You just got to get cracking and make it happen. We've wasted 3 decades on this. It's not the magic solution. I understand there's all sorts of other considerations about floodplain management and planning and the like. But as we have heard from the experts, it will mitigate those floods. It will make them more manageable and make the severe floods not so damaging to those communities.